Our Moroccan friends refer to them as Baghrir, and these honeycomb-shaped pancakes are not only nice to look at, but also taste perversely good. And they are quick and easy to make, have a fluffy texture and yet some bite. Finish with a drizzle of honey butter sauce. These sweet treats will immediately become your beach buddy's enemy number one once you take your first bite. So let's make some in this episode. All we need is some fine semolina, all-purpose flour, dry yeast and sugar, salt, baking powder, as well as some honey and a piece of butter for our sauce. Let's start by combining yeast and sugar in lukewarm water, which should activate the yeast and help it grow into a foamy spectacle. Make sure the sugar is fully dissolved, which can be difficult to achieve with a whisk too big like mine. Give it around 15 minutes and boom! Now we can start preparing our Baghrir batter. However, we want to find out what exactly gives them their unique honeycomb structure and will therefore create 3 different mixtures, for which we grab our blender's container and add water, semolina, flour, salt, as well as half of our activated yeast. Give it a quick mix with your spatula before you run it through the blender on medium-low speed for around a minute, and our first Baghrir batter with yeast only is ready. Let's follow up with the second mixture, for which we replace the yeast with baking powder and blend it well too. Generally, before running your batter through the blender, give it a short mix with your spatula and scrape off ingredients that might have gotten attached to your blending vessel's wall. One quick blend and we move on to our third and final batter mix, for which we combine the usual and add both our activated yeast and baking powder. Let's refer to this blend as the super batter, you'll understand why in a minute. Now that we got our yeasty, baking powder only and super Baghrir batter ready, let's move over to the stove and create some honeycomb pancakes. We grab our non-stick pan and place it over medium-high heat. We can brush it with a little bit of vegetable oil, but that's not really necessary to be honest. Once the surface of the pan is on temperature, we pour in a ladle of the yeasty batter in there. Make sure that your pan doesn't start to smoke, those gases could be hazardous, released by the overheated non-stick coating. So better pour in the batter sooner than later, especially since these Moroccan pancakes have something in common with any other pancakes out there. The first one never works out, so simply set aside and try again. In goes another yeasty ladle and, wait for it, bubble for bubble our pancake ends up with tens of rather randomly distributed craters. Let's set aside and take a ladle of our baking powder only mix. Into the pan it goes and... interesting. After a minute, the baking powder Baghrir ends up with hundreds of small holes, almost uniform and evenly spread all over the pancake. Let's give it a swivel and set aside once the bottom is slightly browned. Next up, a generous ladle of our yeast and baking powder batter. In it goes and... whoa! Hundreds of craters of various shapes and sizes covering the whole pancake. I don't know about you guys, but this is pretty fascinating to me. Could these results be a coincidence? Let's do 2 more batches to be sure. So in goes another yeasty ladle, and by the way, I found that in our particular setup it was best for our ladle not to be fully loaded to the edge. I think that if you pour in too much batter in the pan at once, the bubbles sometimes are not strong enough to rise to the top before the heat of the pan firms up the pancake. So test it for yourself, but I would suggest that you err towards smaller size Baghrir in the beginning. Unless you opt for the super batter, consisting of yeast and baking powder. Those seem to turn out great no matter what. Also, the bubbles of those super honeycomb pancakes not only seem to spread all over the pancake, but also seem to rise in height like a multi-story building, which gives the whole pancake an even more fluffy structure. Watch and listen in. Okay, I think it's about time to taste these honeycombs. Although, before we go, we gotta prep the sauce. Just turn off the heat and, in the hot pan, melt the butter and combine well with the honey. And that's pretty much it. We created 3 differently shaped honeycomb pancakes that are waiting to be devoured. We couldn't detect any outstanding differences in taste between them. Neither the small amount of sugar nor umami, which at times is associated with yeast, were our humble taste buds able to detect. What they were able to detect though is the severe difference in structure. Whereas the yeasty pancakes certainly were fluffy compared to the ones made with baking powder only, which were rather dense, the fluffiness of our yeast and baking powder, aka super batter pancakes, was simply outstanding. Sometimes 1 + 1 really seemed to equal 3 after all, I guess. But all these semolina pancakes will turn into real honeycomb delights once they are sprinkled with a sweet and creamy honey butter sauce.
Hot!
So pour some of it all over your pancake, roll it and enjoy.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Thank you, my friends from Morocco. This is very good.
Thanks for watching and see you again next week with another international recipe here at United Cuisines.